Oh, so Preston, you don't know you don't know who the new Batman is, do you?
I do not. I have been on a plane all day. I was in Texas for a wedding. Shout out to Amy and Mike, the wedding I attended in Texas.
Oh, this is something I need to tell Phil, but so no, the new Batman, believe it is it or not, believe it or not, the new Batman is going to be the guy from Twilight. Robert
Stop.
Pattinson.
Really?
Really? And he's not playing Terry McGinnis. He's actually playing Bruce Wayne, from what I'm hearing.
You know who Terry McGinnis is, right, Preston? He's like Batman in the future. You know that guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Batman Beyond. Yeah, right. Man, that's interesting. I've never seen him in anything other than Twilight, so I'm not sure how he's going to be.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. I'm not familiar with any of his other work, so I don't know if it's just the cheesy series that he was that way in, or if that's indicative of all of his acting.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing is, he's a professional. Maybe he's very good at what he does, and he can shift it around. I don't know.
Everybody said the same thing about Ben Affleck, though. And
yeah,
like
people
Affleck,
did because Ben Affleck was not an action star before that. I mean, he was in Reindeer Games, but come on. But like we didn't think of that. We thought of Ben Affleck as another trench coat wearing dude from Clerks or something, or from Mallrats and Chasing Amy. Man, I would in a million years I would have not guessed him as the new Batman.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's the new Batman. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Phil, you're still in Freedom, right?
Yes.
Yo, so before we start the pregame shit, we were discussing this last time on the podcast, Preston, about people who, rip to those who named their children after Daenerys.
Oh yeah.
The CEO of our YouTube network, he named his daughter Daenerys. His daughter's like 3 or 4, and I'm watching a video because he puts out a video like every week, and all of a sudden I'm just watching him do his thing, and he goes, "Oh, hey there, Daenerys." I'm like, what? Oh my God, did he name his daughter Daenerys? Oh, dude, rip after that last fucking episode. Holy shit. So yes, the CEO of the network, Phil and I are in. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's cheesy as hell. I love watching his videos because they're insane. It's like, everybody!
Well, I actually know some people that name their children Atticus. And no. I mean, but like recently, a sequel was written for the books, and paint him in a less favorable light than the original.
To Kill a Mockingbird,
Yeah.
where he's a racist. He's really a racist.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. And so in To Kill a Mockingbird, you're thinking he's a great guy, and then all of a sudden you find out like he's not a great guy, and all these people named Atticus are like, great, thanks a lot. This is the thing. Never have heroes. Never admire anyone.
All right, guys, let's get into the pregame live show thingy-majiggy. So this is the final episode of Game of Thrones. The final episode. This is it. No more after this. Well, not no more. We're still going to do some Game of Thrones content. This is the one thing I always get. I don't know about Preston doesn't get this because he has no like other YouTube friends besides me. Let's keep it that way, by the way.
Yeah.
I always get
besides Logan Paul, right?
if you were friends with Logan Paul, I'd flip. But
Logan Paul are hanging out all the time, dude. It's insane.
Yeah, they were at the same wedding earlier today.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'm like, hey, dude, you want to get a sandwich? And he's like, I'm gonna get a sandwich, And he's like so excited about getting a sandwich.
But I always get like random YouTube friends of mine coming to me and going, "Hey man, congratulations on the season." My one buddy after the last episode, he goes, "Yeah, Carmine, sorry about that. I know you can't leave your house after the last episode. You can't show your face out in town because of all the controversy." But no, my buddy's always like, "So now that Thrones is over, what are you gonna do?" "Oh, I'm still gonna do Thrones. It's not over. Like we still need to finish Fire and Blood. I've never covered book content." Oh God, when the Winds of Winter comes out, oh my God, that's gonna fucking take us 3 years to finish.
Yeah, not to mention prequels and all the other things that are going on. Plus, I got you into Westworld and other stuff. So
get me into Watchmen too. I saw the movie; it was okay.
Yeah, Watchmen. Watchmen's interesting. it's funny. The movie is created by someone who has the exact opposite ideology as the guy who wrote the comic book. And so what do you do when you have like an extreme left-winger write the comic book and then an extreme right-winger like do the movie? Like, what do you like? I mean, he adapted it pretty closely, so like, but he fundamentally didn't understand the material he was dealing with. But it'll be interesting to see like what HBO does.
So speaking of HBO, and I want your thoughts on this, Phil, because I think you were the one that called it. So I was talking to my buddy, the guy who's a graphic designer who does some work for HBO. He's not employed by them, but he's a freelancer. So they come in and they ask him, "Hey, could you do this, and this, and this?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." And they'll pay him, and they ask him like something like 3 months later. And he was telling me that these last 2 seasons, they spent so much money on the last 2 seasons of Thrones that they have to put certain shows on hold because of it. That's what he was telling me. Like they couldn't cancel certain shows, but they had to allocate certain monies on certain amount of money to make the last 2 seasons amazingly big in terms of production value, that they couldn't do certain things. I think he said it also might have cut into the production of Westworld as well.
Oh.
That's what he told me.
Westworld has been, I understand that the production, I mean, Westworld gets medium ratings, but it doesn't justify the budget they spend. They have a massive budget.
Or the time that they take to make the episodes and make the content. They're on that no schedule where they put it out when they want to put it out.
Or the star power. Yeah. Like they have actors that people recognize. When Game of Thrones started, besides Sean Bean, who did anyone know? Nobody.
Yeah, him and the guy who played Robert Baratheon. But
yeah. I mean, and I suppose people recognize Littlefinger from The Wire and things like that, but nothing huge. Not like having Anthony fucking Hopkins.
Yeah. Oh, we have
Go ahead.
Oh, we have a super chat. What do you think Daenerys' tax policy would be?
I mean, progressive. What? Like a progressive tax structure. Like you start with low income, not paying much, and then like as you head into like I don't know, $25,000 to $50,000 a year, about 25%, and then you progressively go upwards.
God, I forgot about
this. 36%.
Guys, please stop asking him tax questions and money stuff.
I'm just saying, these are these progressive. Typical progressive tax structure, something like that. That'd be good, People, I have no idea. I mean, Daenerys's taxes. I think she did in the book. She did. There was some discussion of. No, never mind. I'm trying to think of something from the book where there's taxes, but I can't remember. Sorry. Yeah, there was. Yeah, I don't think she was collecting much though, because the economy was not doing very well.
No one's alive to pay taxes. So me and Preston did a spoilers thing, Phil.
Yeah, and I've read the spoilers and I listened to most of that podcast.
So here's hoping that. And I was discussing this with a friend of mine, and she's one of the people where she read the spoilers and she has no interest in watching the last episode. She'll watch it the next day. Like, she's not going to stay up and, because she's from overseas, and she's not going to stay up and she has shit to do tomorrow. And normally, had she not known the spoilers, she would do this. But because she knows it, she's not going to stay up. She's not going to, watch it. And I'm thinking, and I'm hoping to God that these spoilers were leaked out by HBO, and that the ending is something completely different. What are the odds of that?
I don't know. In the words of Preston, I don't know if they're smart enough to do something like that.
Yeah. There's no way that there's going to be a secretly good ending like that. What do you think? I mean,
that was going to be one of my questions for both of you guys too. Considering everything and whatever you want to say about this season, good or bad or whatever, it's had its issues and has problems, regardless of what level of drunk you've been with watching it and can enjoy it on whatever level. Is there anything that could be done in this last episode to repair it in any way for you, Preston? And go to Carmine as well after that.
I mean, honest to God, like if like not knowing what's coming, like a proper last episode would be something dealing with Bran and time travel and the children of the forest and like the grandeur story. Like if they somehow like if the last episode were something as trite as like Bran Butterfly affecting himself, like that would be fine for me. Like that would be okay. But the thing is like reading the spoilers and being like, they're not even gonna focus that much on Bran. Like how are you not doing that? How are you not addressing like the seasons and the origin of the White Walkers and the Children of the Forest and R'hllor and all of these greater questions? Like there, if the last episode focused on those big things, it can be repaired. And then we could say, oh, this other stuff was irrelevant because the big picture story was the thing that was relevant,
Someone in the live chat said, drink every time Bran is mentioned out of context so you're drunk enough to accept that scene when it happens. You're ready for sprinkles on this shit this Sunday, Bloody Talker. Carmine, I know you're a little higher on this season than some, and at least in the early half of it. What are you hoping for tonight, or what could kill it for you this evening?
Like I said, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for people in the live stream watching this right now who don't know about the leaks.
We're not gonna say what happens at all, and
but
keep that out of the chat too.
Yeah. But there is a scene so the one thing when we did our spoiler podcast episode, there's one thing Preston said where I was like, "Ooh, that's good." And with Thrones, I always love the horror element of a certain group of enemies, and I hope that comes back again, that comes back around, because I always questioned why the fuck is HBO doing a long night prequel? Like, who cares? And me and Preston have discussed this ad nauseum. Like, nobody cares about how Han Solo got his blaster. Nobody really gives a fuck about, where Palpatine comes from. Like, prequels almost never work. However, we all have been bitching about why they haven't really answered any questions about who the Night King is, where he comes from, the White Walker mystery, the three-eyed raven. Like, all this stuff is not going to be answered. I even asked my graphic design buddy who works at HBO every now and then, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know anything about that stuff. So my guess is that it will be answered in the prequels. Everything we want to know about the Lord of Lights, the White Walkers, the Three-Eyed Raven, Children of the Forest, all that stuff that wasn't answered, we're going to answer that in the fucking prequel. Because the one thing... Oh, go ahead, Press. I'm sorry.
I was saying I do wonder if like they actually decided to end things a little short of George's ending, or not do as much as George's ending in order not to blow their entire load, so that they had more material for the prequels.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. Like there's just so much stuff left unanswered, so maybe we'll get that answer in the prequel, and maybe some revelation will tie in the prequel with how fucked we all are for the person that sits on the Iron Throne. Because if the leaks are correct, and if this person is actually the person that sits on the throne, and then the prequel comes out and we find out, oh shit, that they're really evil and they're not good on the throne. Oh my god, it'll be a nice little callback to the original Game of Thrones show and how we're all fucked because that person's on the throne.
How a prequel affecting how you interpret the later material.
Right.
Yeah, we got to be careful of these spoilers of Gilly on the Iron Throne. Shit, I said it. Fuck.
I fucking will. So speaking of which, someone was asking me, because I shared on Instagram all the Blu-rays I have. I have not bought season 6, 7, or nor will I buy season 8's Blu-ray. I stopped my Blu-ray collection at season 8. Like, I'm being serious when I say, the show has not been good for many seasons. Nobody.
To be fair, that's around the time people stopped buying Blu-rays.
What do you mean?
I'm saying people don't buy DVDs or Blu-rays anymore. It's just, my computer doesn't even have a slot to shove it in.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
How am I supposed to watch it? I've got to go to the store and buy a fucking Blu-ray player like a chump? No, I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, not most people. A lot of people have Xboxes or PlayStation 4s.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll grant that.
but Preston, it is bittersweet though, like today, because we've been doing Game of Thrones. Well, I've been doing it for 5 years now. 5 years now. I think you've been doing it for 4.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is bittersweet in a sense because as much as I enjoy the series, it is time for, this and the Jedi to both end. And like it's gone on too long.
Time for us to move on to our reviews of Confederates.
The reviews of the new Star Wars film coming out in 2021.
This is from Will Max. Now that the rolling disaster of season 8 is over, can you give us some hope in Winds of Winter novel, and what do you think we can expect? And I'll say generally, what do you think we can expect?
I mean, the Winds of Winter, I think generally what we can expect is that the first quarter or third of the book is going to be the battles, the major battles. The Battle of Ice, the Battle of Fire, and the ones I call the Battle of Steel and the Battle of Blood at Storm's End and Old Town. And then the question is what happens after that? I guess, you can look forward to some sort of Daenerys traveling, hopefully she'll start traveling towards Westeros. And then you have, perhaps Jon as a direwolf or something, going on. Some more story. We know that there's a Bran chapter, so we're going to find out a hell of a lot more about what he's doing, and then hopefully we're going to find a lot more about the Dornish and Jon Con and what's really behind those two plots, and hopefully something exciting will happen in Old Town. What we're looking forward to is a lot of things that were not in the show. Like the Winds of Winter is going to have, a major part of it is going to be the Dornish storyline, the Ironborn storyline, the Jon Con storyline, and all of the Old Town, all the stuff happening in Old Town with the Brave Companions and the Glass Candle and Jock and Hagar and Sam all intersecting there. Ario Hota like going out to try to track down Darkstar. A lot of stuff that's not going to be in the show at all. Like, a good deal of the Winds of Winter is not spoiled. 95% of the Winds of Winter is not spoiled and has nothing to do with the show. So it's going to be fantastic.
Preston, we missed the super chat before. Preston, did you get your shiny Torchic today?
I did get one shiny Torchic.
Fucking guy.
I landed. See, Community Day happened while I was on the plane. So I landed. I had about 20 minutes of Community Day. I opened it up, caught a few. I got my shiny Torchic,
Why do you keep playing? Just play Pokemon normally, man. Like, stop playing Pokemon Go. Just get a Switch. Get the new Pokemon game that came out. I'm gonna buy one too. We'll play together. Let's go. Live stream. What? Why not? Live stream.
It's fine. It's fine. You'll never understand the joy of Pokemon Go. You'll never understand the joy of like schedule it like going to see if there's a raid and then like walking like being like can I leave work for a moment, and you leave work and you go out for a raid and there's a bunch of like crazies mostly businessmen and women like standing around like discussing whether or not we're going to be able to take down this level 5, hop and fluff or whatever.
It's not even a real Pokemon, but whatever.
Doesn't fucking matter.
It is now. Lady Laura Dane. Oh, great to see you, Lady Laura Dane. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to everyone else in the live chat today. You guys are cracking me up today. I'm getting distracted with all your thoughts. This is it's pre-recorded, Lady Laura. No, it's live.
No, Preston, like I was saying, man, it's bittersweet because we have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
But it's funny too because we're only going to get a year or two break. Game of Thrones: The Long Night prequel is coming back. I was wrong when I said that this is the report I heard that they already started filming 2 weeks ago. No, they're going to start filming next week.
Yeah.
So depending on how long that's going to go on for, we can probably see Game of Thrones coming back maybe winter of 2020.
Well, we also know that George is coming out with a Winds of Winter update after the show is done. Like he says that one's coming. So I'm being cautiously optimistic that he is saying that the book is almost done, because it's got to be fucking almost done at this point. So we got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of stuff going.
Well, like I said, it's people on my fucking Twitter page are so pessimistic about the books like being done. Like everybody says like it's never gonna be done. You all should stop it. It's never gonna go down ever. And I'm like, guys, please, no, don't, because he's 70 years old, right?
72.
72. That's worse. Oh my God, that's 2 years more.
Let me check that again. I don't want to throw out misinformation.
Well, I want the fucking guy to finish it. I was actually
no, he's 70. You're right, Carmine.
Oh, thank God.
You win. You freaking win.
I was watching some videos, and he's involved in a lot of stuff that's not the books. Like, not only is he involved in the show to some extent, but there were some Game of Thrones video games he was involved in. He was involved in, like, some other, like, films and television projects. He had a cameo in Sharknado. So, like, how... I would... You guys remember that one scene in Spider-Man 2 where Spider-Man is trying to stop the train and he passes out and the passengers pick him up? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and they like cover his face or they don't look at him or something like that.
Something like that. There's a scene where Dr. Octopus comes in the train and go, "He's mine!" And that fat New Yorker guy goes, "If you want him, you're going to have to get him. You have to come through me." That's Joey Diaz. He was on screen when he said that line. He's on screen for maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds. It took him 3 months of filming to just do that fucking scene. So imagine how many times George was on set of the Sharknado just to film him getting eaten by a shark. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, but to be fair, the minute Game of Thrones is over, most people are gonna stop bothering him. They're gonna be like, well, you know.
No, they're not. Like, he's insane. People that stupid. It's not stupid, but well, it is. It's not. That petition is gonna make people bother him even more.
The petition.
That goes to a question, another super chat question we got. But Beckett thinks I'm afraid to ask you a question that he had a super chat donation, so I'm going to ask it. Preston, I know Martin says he's a feminist, but what are the chances he's secretly a black-pilled closet MRA?
Black-pilled? What?
Well, they usually say maybe there's I don't know
red
black
pilled?
pilled. No, I know what red pilled means. I'm not, but there might be something beyond it, like called black pilled. But I that does vaguely. Oh no, black pilled. I think that's a term from like incels or something. I think they use the term black pill for something.
Okay.
But about that. So George R. R. Martin. The thing is all of his friends are these like super progressive sci-fi writers. And so no, like there's 0% chance that he's like secretly an men's rights activist. Like, you know, he would lose all of his friends and his wife and all of these other people who have very left-wing views. So no, there's no possibility of that. But then, you know, there is a deeper question about, like, what was George R. R. Martin going for? If this is George R. R. Martin's ending, having Cersei be crazy, having Daenerys be crazy, and having the hero be this, you know, hetero bro dude, Jon Snow. Like, what was George R. R. Martin going for with that ending? And I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say without having his book and because the showrunners can misinterpret stuff so freaking badly. But I'm saying it's very, very weird to have a George R. R. Martin story where the hero is somebody like Jon Snow. He's just so boring and run of the mill and average. Now, you know, so I do see things like Arya being the secret main character and like, you know, that might be what George R. R. Martin was going for, but the showrunners are like, Jon Snow tests well, you know, so let's have
rating,
him, yeah, something like that. I'm not sure, but it's a little odd, or you know that, or maybe all the eliminated characters, like having no Jon Con or having no Aegon, like ruins the balance of things.
And here's another one, back to that other point. Hey, guys, do you think, we got a lot of super chats coming in. Thank you guys so much. Hey, you guys, do you think that HBO should remake the whole series sometimes in the future when the final books come out so it's more faithful?
I mean, I would say never going to happen, but then again, the fucking Lord of the Rings series is coming. And I'm like, oh my God,
Well, to be fair, the Tolkien estate needs money. Like every 20 years or so, like they'll come out of their fucking like hobbit holes and like they'll realize, oh shit, the books just aren't selling that well. We got to have more money, and they'll go, who wants to do this? And they'll throw it out. So give it another 20 years, and we'll probably get Barian and Luthien or whatever. The one thing they could do is save a lot of money and just do an animated series.
Yeah.
Because animated series are starting to really pick up, especially on Netflix. Castlevania was something recently that was done, and they're going to do Devil May Cry on Netflix as well. HBO, from what I was told, has done animated series before. Apparently there was a Spawn.
Yeah, the Spawn one's really good. It's actually the best version of the character, in my opinion.
Well, you're trying to tell me that the live action Spawn movie isn't the greatest thing ever?
With John Leguizamo, he kills him in that movie. Oh my God. Austin says this one's for Preston. Preston, when I finally finish the book you inspired me to write, I hope you tear it apart. It's called Trial by Light. Keep up the good work, guys.
Trial by Light. I will check it out.
And Team Car Jack Issues. With the last episode tribute to Heath Ledger's Joker, do you feel like there's still room for a satisfying ending to the show's narrative?
Yeah, no. That time has long since passed. First off, with this petition going on, it's like I said, certain people will just hate watch the show. The show could literally do everything perfect. You would still hate the fuck out of it. You would. There are people who will never be satisfied ever with what the show is, even if it does everything perfectly, which it won't, but you're still going to bitch about it. Because if you think about it like that, like I never liked The Phantom Menace. It's the anniversary of The Phantom Menace today. I never liked The Phantom Menace. But it took Mr. Plinkett's video to make me fucking hate The Phantom Menace. People love hating stuff because they feel a sense of camaraderie with everybody else. People love hating stuff more than they do liking stuff together. This is something I've noticed. I don't know. You guys are older. You can probably school me on this.
Well, there was a good David Wong article about human identity and how many of us actually define ourselves more by what we don't like than what we like. I would say it's at least true with me in politics. Like it's not like I sit around going, oh, I really agree with certain left-wing ideas, but I really fucking hate right-wing ideas. And so I'm a liberal because I freaking hate conservatives. It's like that's how it comes about. Like everything they stand for, I'm kind of for the opposite. It's like I mean, we don't get too much into politics, but it's just like, but it's the same sort of thing that we actually focus on who we don't like. If we go on the internet right now, like all these videos, like I don't know how they're in my feed, but like all they try to have me want to watch is like these like videos bashing like Captain Marvel and stuff, and I'm like, why would I want to watch that? But it seems like it's all there is, like all this weird like woman bashing videos. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate on the internet, and perhaps I'm part of the problem. But I accept that.
No, you do a parody thing. It's parody. I watch Real Time with Bill Maher. I find the guy fucking hilarious. And when a guest goes on Real Time with Bill Maher, all they really have to do to get the audience howling and clapping like seals is say, Donald Trump sucks. He said something I like. And that's really pretty much what a lot of YouTubers are doing now, right? So the one thing that's super popular in these past 2 weeks have been tier lists, which is something I've noticed. Tier lists are making a big thing now, and Game of Thrones sucks.
What's a tier list?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what's a tier list?
You guys don't know what a tier... God, Jesus Christ. A tier list is all the big YouTubers are doing it. A tier list is where you have
We got to do
letters.
it, Preston. No, we got to do
it.
All
right, let's do it.
You have S for the best thing, A, B, C, D, E, and E. And then E is worse. S is the best. So if you're doing like the best fast food chains in the United States, I guess you would put, I don't know, whatever your favorite fast food is. Like Five Guys would be S tier. McDonald's would be E tier. Get it? Like, because it's awful. But Five Guys is great, so it's S tier. That's what tier lists are. And that's been a huge thing. All the big YouTubers are doing it. iDubbbz, Review Bra, Everybody's doing it. So, and it's the popular thing every year to hate on Game of Thrones. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's not awful like everybody makes it out to be.
No, I mean that's like I will admit that the when people have been coming to me at work and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I don't know what's wrong with this season, and I immediately respond, you mean the past 4 seasons or the past 5 seasons? Like the quality of this season, I don't think is that different from last season or the season before. I mean, maybe it's slightly, you know, I might say it's slightly worse, but it's not this huge drop off. Like the internet makes it seem like this was like a sudden fucking thing, as if like this hasn't been a gradual progression, you know. And even if you go all the way back to season 2, like season 1 was pretty spot on, but season 2, you know, you bring in Talisa. And you're like, well, does this even make sense that this, you know, foreign woman is walking around battlefields like giving lip to kings? Like, that's a really silly idea. But okay, and then you kind of accept the Talisa thing, you know, and the Locke thing, and, you know, Locke going north of the wall. And then, you know, these random scenes of Mira and Osha like arguing for some reason that have nothing, like, why are they not getting along? What is the scene? And then it just gets worse and worse. And then you have the Dorna storyline, and you know, it's not like these elements weren't there the entire time. They were. It's, you know, but the internet's acting like this is a fucking new thing.
That's what I've been saying. Like, this show has not been good since season 6. What is the point in sitting here and going, I hate it. I hate all of it, before the fucking episode even begins? Like, just try to enjoy what you can. I'm sorry, right. Phil. You have a lot of super chats.
Oh, no. Angel Beat says, Angel, can we all just admit that this is Sansa's fault? Oh, okay, we can all admit it's Sansa's fault. And someone says, are you a hater for hating on people who want to hate? Ask the Bloody Talker.
Yeah, these paradoxes.
Yeah,
these paradoxes,
that's
right?
like a time travel paradox right there. And yeah. we got a lot of.
If I go back in time and have sex with my grandfather, yeah.
we have more real politics stuff. Preston, as a left-wing liberal, what is your take on the chaos going on in Sweden and Europe right now? If you know anything about it.
There's no chaos in Sweden and Europe.
I know what he means.
I was just fucking.
I know what he means.
My best friend lives in Sweden. I was just in fucking Germany. What fucking chaos?
I know what he means, and I know exactly what he means. We're not gonna get into this.
I know what he means, and he's fucking retarded.
And Steven says, "What do I need to do to get Preston to check his Patreon?"
Oh yeah. No, I'm really bad about that one. Yeah.
And I think I caught up with all the super chats. So thank you guys for all the super chats.
Oh God. I want to say that must be. I think the Sweden thing was a joke.
Oh no, Angel! I was showing you some love. Thank you again, Angel, for another super chat.
Someone said to me in the comments, Carmine, a lot of people who defended the show up to season 7 now hate it, or they hate watching. No, I'm not saying those people at all. But you have these people, because unlike Preston, I read my comment section and I read his sometimes. There are
it's
people.
True that Carmine reads my comment section
only when I'm involved. No, there are a lot of people who just sit there and will hate everything in the show. Everything. I mean, there are some things to like that one time Gendry banged that bug-eye goblin. That was fucking awesome. But no,
but speaking of that, like a lot of people compliment that the Grey Worm Missandei like sex scene was very well done. Like that was a very like emotional, like surprising scene. That was really unusual and different and well acted, and like, like who would have thought that would have been something good?
Yeah, the show does stuff every now and then that's great. Even this season, there were things here and there that weren't god awful. But then people just will hate literally everything in the episode. I mean, there are things in the episode that suck, and the amount of suck is way more than not suck. But you just have people who just watch it just to hate on it. I'm talking about those people, not people who enjoyed everything up until season 7 now hate it. There's a lot to hate here. There's also some stuff to like, too. And you're sitting there going, you know, everything sucks. Really? Does it, though? Come on, relax. Relax. Y'all gonna give yourselves a heart attack with this much hate.
Yeah, it's true.
To be fair, we are living in a very hateful time, though. Not even go into that.
Did he just mumble Preston Jacobs under his breath?
No, I actually did not.
Yeah,
I did not.
I think so. That's what he did.
I think he did that. Everyone's on high alert today, being the last episode. JM says, Preston, why would this show introduce time travel at this point?
I mean, I would say that they already introduced it. So like, why would they introduced this
Oh no, I think that's the question. Like, why would they introduce time travel? Like, what's the point of introducing time travel?
Oh, I would say to understand like where the Night King came from and the uneven seasons and what the Three-Eyed Crow is and why it's important that Bran survive. Right now they just kind of say, oh, Bran needs to survive because he's the record of humanity. Well, we didn't even know he was a record of humanity until a few days ago or a few episodes ago. So they have books and other things. Like if Bran dies, it's not that big of a deal, is it? Because he doesn't seem to tell anybody about his stories. He's not like 8,000 years ago there was this really great incident that happened. No, he's just sitting in a corner.
Yeah.
So like if Bran dies and all of human history is lost with him, it's not really that much of a loss. Like our current world seems to have a lot of human history gone. So, and we're surviving. I want the time travel thing to explain the deeper issues of Westeros, which I thought it would. But I guess I was wrong.
And that's why we're having the prequel series. I hope the prequel series does explain this stuff because we all know the books will. The Song of Ice and Fire books will explain this through Bran. But I guess the show wanted to sideline that because it felt it wasn't that important. But that's why we have the prequel. I'm assuming the Long Night prequel will go into why the seasons are so fucked up. The White Walkers, like what the hell are they? I would love it if like the prequels dive into like the Three-Eyed Raven. He's really the bad guy. He has been this ancient evil this entire time. The White Walkers are really the ones who are oppressed in a way, in their own weird, twisted way. And the White Walkers are inevitable every single time, and that they don't want to stay White Walkers. They want to die their final deaths, and life is pain for them, like Mr. Meeksies, and they need to kill the Three-Eyed Raven to end this cycle. And as long as the Raven keeps moving from body to body, I would love if the Three-Eyed Raven thing is like the Thing from the movie The Thing. It just jumps from body to body to body to keep surviving. Maybe like a psychic parasite or something.
Yeah, symbiote or something that has to latch onto a new host every generation, like the Dax symbiote from Deep Space
Right.
Nine.
I mean, I didn't see the new Thing movie, but apparently Tormund's in it, right? The actor that plays Tormund.
I'm sure he's in everything that has ice now. So, but no, that's what I would like, the Long Night prequel, to make us go, oh snap! So Bran was infected this entire time, and he's the new big bad. Oh, are they ever going to go back to answer that? Probably not. It's supposed to leave you feeling with dread as to like what's really going on in the other timeline show. So.
Arya sucks and John's negligent pet care sucks, but everything else has been awesome this season. What are you guys' favorite show only scene? What are both one of Carmine? What's your favorite show only scene?
I always go to the Robert Baratheon Cersei conversation before Ned Stark has that confrontation with Jaime. But the one scene I always find myself loving the most is Stannis' last stand when the Bolton horsemen are coming at him. And he realizes like he's fucked, so he just takes out his sword anyways and just walks forward. I love that scene. I don't know why. I just love that scene.
Preston, what's your favorite show only scene?
The one I always go to is the Theon talking about how painful it was to live at Winterfell and be told every day that he was a hostage, or he was told every day how lucky he was to be a hostage. I think that's a brilliant scene and incredibly well acted. But I always say that one. I feel like I should come up with a few more that I like. I mean, there are definitely moments where I like last episode I laughed so hard at Cersei like dipping around the mountain and the Hound being like, I'm out of here. You know, like I just, you know, there are certain things that are funny here and there that I do think are pretty impressive.
Yeah, I always liked the Ned Jamie confrontation in season 1 and how that ended off and how they had a little bit more of a conflict. I didn't mind it for a television show to add that level of action, and instead of Ned just falling off his horse, I didn't mind that sort of setup. And also Tywin and Arya early on I thought had a good combination that I didn't mind. That he was the one in Harrenhal and it wasn't who was
Roose
it?
Bolton.
Was it? Yeah, it wasn't Roose. I kind of enjoyed that.
No, yeah, that's one of the. I would argue that's one of the best lines in the entire series. You know, where Tywin goes, "Your father died. What killed him?" And she goes, "Loyalty." One of the best lines in the entire show. I love it. Yeah. So the show does have some good moments, you know, but because if these hate watchers were here during season 2, you know, everybody'd be like, "Oh, that's the worst line ever." It's really not. It's, you know, we have some good moments.
Here's another super chat. Are you upset about not hearing what Varys heard in the fire, Preston?
Oh, yeah, gosh. I guess we'll just throw that on the pile. I mean, we're not going to see Kinvara again, or like, you know, the entire R'hllor plot is completely unresolved. Like, we have all these zealots that were worshiping Daenerys, and, you know, what was that for? You know, we dedicated a lot of time to that. There was, you know, Kinvara arriving in Meereen. There was the Asian Red Priestess who like gives Tyrion a look. You know, there's all of these strange. There's Jon coming back from the dead. No explanation for any of this. And we probably won't get any explanation. So, yeah, it's pretty sad. what he heard what he heard in the fire, who knows.
Yeah, speaking of sad, have you guys watched Chernobyl yet?
No, I'm probably gonna stay away from that.
Yeah.
That looks super depressing.
Yeah, me too.
I'm okay.
Me too. I'm sorry. I'm such a wuss with that stuff. That's gonna be a sad. I don't want to sad watch that show.
I've been watching Barry. That's all right.
The hell is that?
It's the guy from Saturday Night Live. Shit. He's a contract killer who decides he wants to go into acting.
Wait, how do you spell it? Barry? Barry?
Yeah, Barry.
Oh, it's on HBO.
Yeah, it's an HBO show.
And it's pretty good. It's Bill Hader.
Him. I love him.
Yeah, Bill Hader. He's really good in it. And actually, you know who's really good is Fonzie is in it, and he's freaking excellent.
Henry Winkler. Oh shit.
Yeah, he's really excellent.
Yeah, Fonzie's the best.
Yeah. But he's it's actually no. Oh God, there's this actor who plays this not Croatian. I'm sorry, Croatia, Chechnyan. Who is the most hilarious character. He's this Chechnyan with he doesn't have any hair, and he's on the one hand like completely psychotic, and on the other hand like the most happy-go-lucky, like ridiculous character, and he's so funny. But yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, people are like, we're off subject. So
yeah,
topic of bad TV show endings. What are TV show endings do you think they're actually good? I thought the Breaking Bad one I thought was good. Star Trek: The Next Generation I thought was a good ending.
Newhart was a really good ending.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I thought that was neat the way they did that at the end. For an ending like that, unlike say the Saint Elsewhere ending, which I think didn't necessarily work, I thought the Newhart one was exceptionally kind of funny just because of the connection to the original series.
Yeah. And of course I'm always biased, but The Leftovers was a brilliant ending.
I thought Cheers ended off fairly well if you were into like for a sitcom. I think sitcoms are different, but I thought Cheers ended off pretty well. Scrubs, the original ending of Scrubs was really well done.
I was about to say, can we do sitcoms? Because I'm thinking of like actual like television. I don't watch a lot of TV. I never have. I was gonna say, yeah, the original Scrubs ending was great.
Yeah, not that extra season that they put on there. And the show in the live chat that people want, they asked if the three of us would do a review of it and get Carmine to watch it. Is The Wire, and I think The Wire ends fairly strong as well.
Yeah, I mean, actually, all the Star Treks kind of end pretty well. Not to Enterprise, but DS9 and Voyager both have pretty good finales.
Enterprise is horseshit. That's one of the worst endings. For people that were into that series, that's just a slap in the face.
Yeah, but DS9 and Voyager both had pretty good endings.
Yeah, DS9 was fairly satisfying, but it was conclusive, and and I'm very eager to. No, I'm going to go on a Star Trek rant. I'm very eager to see the new Deep Space Nine documentary, which maps out what a next episode would be with all the writers and stuff. So.
Wow. Yeah. Angel had a really good ending. Even though Angel ends on a cliffhanger, but it's an intentional cliffhanger. It's an intentional ironic cliffhanger because every Angel episode ended on a cliffhanger, and that was kind of like the running joke. And so the last episode ends on a cliffhanger, and it's like not important what happens next, because it's like these characters are gonna keep fighting, and that's the point. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing, and so we're gonna end it right here because. That's what these, it doesn't matter, But I'm a pretty big fan of the way that series ended.
I'm still sitting here thinking, like, what's not a sitcom that ended pretty good? I can't think of something that ended pretty good. Like, all the shows I've watched, I don't know. I really don't. Move on to the next question. Fuck, I'm trying to think of it.
Preston, what are the odds that the book ends like the movie Rat Race, where all divergent plot lines smashed at the mouth of the concert?
I mean, that's what we kind of want, right? I think that's pretty like in my mind's eye when I've created like how I would end A Dream of Spring. I have all of the plot lines ending at the God's Eye, like all of the different armies and all of the different people like arriving at the God's Eye is how I would end it. And for the most part, that is kind of how George R. R. Martin ends stories. Like he doesn't like to have loose ends. He likes what I call continuity porn. Like sometimes irrelevant characters that you never thought would come back are brought back, and you're like, I would have been fine never seeing that character again, and you've brought them back. I don't know if many of you remember the first time you read A Feast for Crows, and all of a sudden the brave companions are back. And Brienne is like fighting and like killing Timian and Pig and Shagwell and then Rorg and Biter. And honestly, like having finished A Clash of Kings and A Storm of Swords, I just assumed that these were one shot like horrible monster guys who would just disappear and I wouldn't ever have to worry about them ever again. But no, for some reason George R. R. Martin wanted to like make sure that these specific characters were their storylines were wrapped up. And so at that point I was like, this random sellsword group, the Brave Companions, keeps fucking coming back over and over and over again. And that's just kind of the way George R. R. Martin writes. He for instance in Tough Voyaging, he wrote, there's a random person that Tough meets on a transport, and the guy is just there for exposition. He's like, hey, what's going on the planet? And the guy's like, well, this and this and this is happening on the planet. He's like, okay, cool. Character doesn't need to come back. He was just a random schmo on a transport who was there for expositional purposes. And he brings him back. He brings him back as like an emissary, like 3 stories later. And you're like, what? Why? Well, he had the character. Why not? He wanted to tie it all up. And so I do think that it's going to be like Rat Race or whatever, where a lot of these characters are going to come together, and because he doesn't like dangling plot threads or dangling characters.
Someone in the live chat said, "What's the point of Biter biting off Brienne's face? Wasn't she ugly enough in the books?"
No, I mean it's true. In the books, she is supposed to be very, very ugly. I think they needed her to have the infection. They needed to have her have a massive infection, but also like maiming is a running theme. Like everybody's got to lose a piece of themselves, right? Jaime loses his hand, Tyrion loses his nose, Theon loses his dick, Brienne loses a cheek. So I don't. there needs to be some sort of sacrifice. We don't even see we haven't seen much sacrifice. I mean, this season we see all the sacrifice. Everybody's dying, but for a long time we didn't see any characters losing anything.
Phil, catch up us on some super chats. I always feel bad.
Wisdom said, "What do I miss? I just got to the stream." You missed nothing. We're just starting right now. James said, "You guys worried the prequels will be impacted by the negative reception to the season?" Also, okay, and I won't read the second part of that. But you guys worried the prequel will be impacted by the negative response to the season?
No, because. Well, once again, because I still keep seeing idiots in the comment section saying it. Yes, there are people who watch the show just to hate on it. It's fun for them. People do that. Trust me, I would know. As a YouTuber, I would know. As a YouTuber, I see people in both your comment sections hating on you guys, yet religiously watching your videos. There's someone in Preston's comment section every time who thinks he's an actual cuck. Libtard, but watches Preston's videos religiously.
Well, every time I post, I get like within a few seconds, I get two downvotes. Like it's a hilarious thing. Like, wow,
it happens.
For fucking 4 years, you have been religiously watching my videos and downvoting my videos immediately.
People do that. However, I think the long night is a clean slate, and quite frankly, I hope we go into the long night not knowing anything about it, which means certain people who are known for spoiling things should be fucking sued. I've said this in the podcast we did with you, and I'll say it again. We should all go into the whole long night thing completely in the dark. As much as I love the Free Folk subreddit and their memes, I still think we should give this season a try. It's without Dave and Dan, so.
And that's the thing. What I found is a lot of artists, they want their own voice and they want their own signature, and they don't. No one wants to go in and go, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna fucking recycle and shit out something that's very much like Dan and Dave. Like, no one wants to do that, so they're gonna want to go in and have their own feel, their own interpretation of events. So it's probably not gonna be like, when I think of like D&D's like Mark, like I think like of the character of Braun, like, I think this guy coming in and throwing dicks and balls around and trying to be shocking, and that's kind of how I feel that their writing of Game of Thrones is, and I just feel like the long night is not going to be that. Like, we're not going to have as much I don't know, blue what do they say, blue material.
And this is the opposite of what we were talking about in the comment section. Marcus says, just donating to tell Preston I love him.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. And someone says, Carmine, I'm dying to hear you say anything in Portuguese before your stream ends.
That's never gonna happen. I have to keep this bullshit.
Obrigado.
That was awful. I have to keep this bullshit New Yorker accent going so everybody thinks I'm an American.
King McKay says, have you read Mistborn series? Really think it could be a great HBO fantasy adaptation. King McKay, lots of love to King McKay in the live chat.
I love King McKay, and to him,
awesome.
I'll say I've never heard anything about Mistborn, but HBO really should have caught more fantasy series. First off, I love The Witcher. I love it even more so than Game of Thrones, and I have to pause to say that because I don't want these other shitty Thrones YouTubers to fucking tag on to Witcher when that comes out. But Netflix is not good with doing CGI. HBO is. HBO knows how to do series, and they know how to do fantasy stuff. So I really think HBO should have grabbed Witcher or the Lord of the Rings prequel, or at least the Conan the Barbarian saga, or at least Wheel of Time, because Wheel of Time could have been their next major Game of Thrones. But I guess they want to go into a new direction with Watchmen. So.
And sorry, a question just flew past that I wanted to ask. But Preston, have you played the Telltale game?
I started it, and then I'd actually bought it and downloaded it years ago, and I'd started it, and I'd never finished it. I just I got in like 15 minutes into it, and then I'd planned on doing a Let's Play where I kind of like played it and made jokes along as I did it. Carmine and I have talked about actually doing that, but but a lot of it has to do with like the tech of it, like being able to play and talk at the same time and recording. And once we figured all that shit out, because I did a bunch of research on how these video gamers do their Let's Plays, and apparently it's actually some fairly expensive equipment that goes into recording like their PlayStations or whatever that they're playing on. But it's a little easier with a computer. But Carmine and I have talked about like doing like playing the Telltale as a Let's Play and making comments on it as we go along. I think it would be pretty fun.
So I know a lot of Twitch streamers, and I can just ask them how to do it, but I think that would require a capture card. Unless I think we're playing on the PC, then I know Phil has done something like that. Phil.
Yeah, but I suck at that too, just because it's too involved. A friend of mine's pretty good at it, but whenever I do it, I always suck at it. There's a lot of balls you're juggling when you're video game streaming.
Yeah,
that is true.
It is a talent. I don't. A lot of people are like, oh, what is this? I can't believe this guy is making like millions of dollars. And I'm like, oh, some of these guys are fucking really incredible video game players and are clever and entertaining, like at the same time as playing this incredibly insanely intense, difficult video game. So but we'll see what we can do.
Actually, no, Preston, what you can do is, this is kind of a cop-out because I think live streaming is better. What you can do is you can record yourself playing it and then just upload it as a normal video instead of just streaming it.
Right.
Which is kind of a I don't like doing that because I would rather you go into the entire game, because there are some like oh shit moments in the entire game, and I want you to experience that and get your reaction as it happens. So
we'll figure it out. I mean, if I'm on, let's say, I mean, I don't know, like we could, if I'm on Skype with you and I'm sharing screens, like you can see what I'm doing, and we can have like a banter about it, or something. We'll try to figure something.
Well, I would rather you record yourself playing it, and then like do some fucking history as you. Well, you see, Carmine, the House Forrester appears in the second book, and then blah 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 blah. You know for a fact you're gonna pause the game and give the audience a history lesson. Come on.
Fair enough. It's also, I could also play it, and then we could like comment on it afterwards and be like, well, then this part I fucking came up, and we joke about it in retrospect or something. But we'll see.
Go ahead, Phil. Let's catch up with some super chats.
This is from Max. Love all you guys, but especially you, Preston. Big fan of yours for years. Please debate Brandon B. Fish one day because he wants your blood. Agree with you on the COTF and the others. Children of the Forest and the others.
Yeah, I'm not sure about his belief on that.
Not sure about him in general, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on this because I'm gonna start talking mad shit. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know what's going. I mean, it's not like I have a relationship with him at all. I met him once, and then I don't know.
He was a cunt. And
no, he was nice to me when I met him, and then he, I don't know, like afterwards he hasn't posted the nicest things about me.
Yeah, he's a cunt. That's what we call a cunt. I know you didn't say that word, but that's what we call a cunt.
Well, nonetheless, we don't want him to get harassed by people. I'm not sure his belief about the Children of the Forest and the others. I know that he has varying beliefs about the Doran Martell plot and what he thinks it's about. And he really thinks it's about that Quentin needed to die because the plot is about Doran's like vengeance, and that Quentin being alive like wouldn't fit with that. And I think that the Doran Martell plot and Quentin's plot is more about war and a young man going off to war. Quentin Martell is George R. Martin. He looks exactly like George R. Martin in the description, and Quentin Martell gets sent off to war, and we have to remember that George R. Martin was not sent off to war. He did he was a conscientious objector, and George R. Martin also feels massively guilty about not going off to war. And so he's written quite a few things about the horrors of war, feeling guilty that he didn't go. And so it's interesting. So the idea of like Quentin going off to Slaver's Bay, I think would be really neat for him to survive, to represent sort of the damaged PTSD soldier coming back and seeing his father again. I think that would be a really great plot. But and so I hope Quentin is alive. But I think a lot of people when they talk about the Quentin plot miss the point by not understanding that it's a story. The most like sometimes some people frame the Quentin plot as, oh, it's breaking this knight going off and taming a dragon trope, and I'm like, that's not a trope. There's no trope of knights taming dragons, but there's tropes of knights slaying dragons but not taming them. But nonetheless, like the whole plot, and they'll take that first line. They'll be like, "Adventure stank." It's all about turning the head on the tail, and it's like, no, like the Quentin story is almost entirely about war. He goes off and he's sad about his friends dying, and he feels that he needs to take action because his friends died to make their deaths worthwhile, which is the whole argument for extending Vietnam for people that lived through that era. Everyone's like, well, why did we fight this war for 7 years, if we're just going to surrender? And Quentin kind of has that philosophy, my best friend died. We can't make his life meaningless. And then they join a freaking sellsword company, and he sees the horrors of war at Astapor, and he continues on when everyone's like, dude, we should go home. We should go home. Quentin says, no, we're not going home because of the friends I've lost. And so the whole thing is this parallel to Vietnam, especially it's kind of obvious when Quentin is George R. R. Martin at age 18, and things like that. Well, George R. R. Martin, though, was probably trying to go off to, or fearing that he would go off to Vietnam.
Dude, let me just stop you right there for a minute. You don't need to fucking debate some dumbass retard on fucking Reddit. You don't. You'd give him more clout and attention, which he doesn't fucking need. The guy's boring. He's a piece of shit. He's pathetic. Fuck out of here with that. I'm gonna talk shit because, like I said, I see more of this stuff than you do because you don't give a fuck, and it really pisses me off when someone with no talent wants to open his mouth and think there's something when they're nobody. Sorry, I'm just gonna say it right there. And I feel bad for Jake LaFrance, but he says, Preston, do you have any predictions about Lady Stoneheart in Winds of Winter? I bring this up because someone said that they thought I said I didn't like Lady Stoneheart. I just don't like the whole bringing back certain characters cliche thing. I'm not a fan of that.
Lady Stoneheart. Yeah, I mean, I'd made some predictions about her. I mean, she's obviously looking for revenge and things like that, and I do think that she's going to pull into the Sansa plot. Like, if she is looking to crown somebody with that crown, and she's trying to get revenge on people like Jaime and everything. And the Jaime and Brienne plot is about Sansa. So I do think when I look at the Sansa plot, I see all things pushing into the Riverlands, and I see Catelyn's plot, Lady Stoneheart's plot, being about her as well. So I do think something's going to go down as people. I think there's going to be a Riverlands invasion by the Vale, and I think Lady Stoneheart will get involved in that. But yeah, it's a real question on like, is she just going to be something that's like evil and vengeful? Is she really Catelyn? I don't know. It's one of those plots where we've been given so little. We've been given like 2 pages of Lady Stoneheart, and it's freaking huge. So I don't know.
To catch up on a couple of super chats, Max also forgot to say, I care more about the War of Raven than Game of Thrones by a lot. And then we have a huge super chat donation from Wisdom. Thank you so much. A Song of Ice and Fire characters are doing things for love. It's remembering your name and the scream of rushed things. It's the feel of Longclaw and the dread of the Blackwater. Let's face it, most can just only give only tits and dragons. Preston Jacobs, thank you for your content and sharing the love.
Wow, that was very nice and poetic. Yeah,
I screwed it up trying to read it, but it was well written.
Yeah, I mean, even like listening to that, the way that was written, like, that had a bittersweet kind of George R. R. Martin feel to it. Well, nothing that I've been watching the past few seasons has kind of the feel and echo of George R. R. Martin. The one exception I would say would be Hold the Door, right? Like Hold the Door had like this different feeling to it, right? You know, where like the episode ended and you're like, oh.
I would say
like,
that.
Well, it was one of the three major things that George told the showrunners was going to happen in the books. I think that was one of them. So.
Yeah,
and it was the last really emotional moment I had with the show, and I mean it's definitely hit me in a couple of other places in these last seasons, but that was the last one that felt really true and earned. I don't know, I can't explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Jamie and Cersei getting killed, like there was a kind of odd sadness to it as well. You know, and how they did things.
That comes down to one thing that's getting under talked about this season because of the pacing and because of the story and some of the dialogue. Even I think the acting has been really spot on, especially with Lena Headey and Jamie Lannister, the actor who I'm not going to Costa Waldo. I think all the performances by them especially have been really great. You were talking a little bit about this in one of your reviews. Her performance without saying much, just with her eyes, she conveyed so much emotion and makes you care about this like horrible person. And in that moment when she sees him and her eyes go watering and cry, I felt something in that moment too while I was watching it. And that came down, I think, more to acting performance than anything else.
Yeah. Well, what was the first one before the poetic wisdom one? Because there was something I wanted to say about that.
Was it what you think about Lady Stoneheart?
No. After Lady Stoneheart.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. Preston, Winds of Winter, Lady Stoneheart. Also, forget I care more about the War of Raven than Game of Thrones.
Oh, the War of the Raven. Yeah. Okay, yeah. No, that'll come back after the season is done. Still working on that, but it's coming along.
Do you think it will be possible for new writers to keep the prequels as its own thing, or will always be shadowed by Game of Thrones? Love you guys.
I think they're going to try their best to make it their own thing. I think that's every artist and every like writer's like goal is to make it their own.
Yeah.
You know, like when take something like completely benign like Frasier, right? Like Frasier was this extension of Cheers, but it felt completely different in every respect. You know, Joey felt completely different from Friends. Even Better Call Saul feels completely different from Breaking Bad, you know? And that's the same fucking creator.
Yeah, it's possible to do it, but it's the same creator, though. So in order for us to have like that weird thing, we probably need Dave and Dan for the prequels again, which is something nobody wants. Is the shadow going to be there? Oh, yeah. Is it really going to compare it to like season 1, 2, and 3 of Thrones when it was like amazing? Oh, yeah, of course. But everybody has to remember that this is going to be its own thing. No Dave and Dan. People just need to give it time to breathe.
Wisdom with another super chat says buying super chats is greater than tequila. Okay, I'm done. Thank you. Do you think Dan and Dave will bring Arya over to their Star Wars trilogy to kill the new villain there, Preston?
Oh God, that would be incredible. I mean, Star Wars has already been hiring Game of Thrones actors.
They have.
So I'm trying to think like.
It's a Where's Waldo at this point. Like every Game of Thrones.
I want to say at least 5, right? I want to say Lisa Tuttle. Lysa Tully.
Lisa Turtle.
Who is Lisa Tuttle? Who is that?
Lisa Tuttle is the co-author with George R. R. Martin of Winter.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Gwendolyn Christie. Brienne.
In fairness, she didn't really do much in those movies, but she was there. She
didn't even show her face.
Yeah, she did.
Who else? Who else, Carmine?
Oh God, don't fucking do that. The one guy, there's that not Benjen. Jojen is the one guy when Poe and Finn are trying to leave the hangar. He's the one Imperial officer who goes, "We have an unsanctioned department in Bay 2." And then someone goes, "Alert General Hux, stop that fighter." Like that was Jojen who says that.
Then we had the three-eyed raven, Max von Sydow, whatever his name was.
He was Lor Santeca,
Yep.
the guy that was
Right.
talking with Poe.
And then the other way that the Pycelle was in Return of the Jedi.
he was,
Oh,
and
he
then you
was, yeah.
have a random Dothraki Queen Mother who was on the bridge of the Dreadnought in Last Jedi. Like, dude, I know this stuff. Like, get out of here with this. I know this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that one Dothraki girl is she was in Ant-Man 2, wasn't she?
I have no fucking idea. I just know Star Wars. That's all I got.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Oh, was she the girl that was phasing in and out of time?
Yeah, that's her.
Okay.
She's the one that goes to the bathroom with Danny.
Lamp of the Shade versus Shade of the Lamp. Who wins?
I mean, come on, Shade of the Lamp is pretty unstoppable. He can't be stopped.
Yeah. What kind of tech should be in the Long Nights? Asks Shy88.
I want to know how. Like, hopefully they can shed some light on what Qyburn did to the mountain. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you were talking about that, and with that kind of technology, build an army of those. I mean, that's what if I was king, I'd build an army of Sir Robert Strongs that can't be stopped with anything but, I guess, getting tackled by their brother into a pile of fire.
But it's an interesting thing about like tech, because so as the show went on, we saw tech, we saw the show suddenly kind of delve into modernity. Like it went very like fantasy, medieval feeling to almost semi-modern, right? But and we think of like technology always advancing, but George R. R. Martin does like to have the reverse. So it could be that like they're fairly advanced, and then the long night hits, and they start losing their technology, and everything becomes crude. I've never seen that been done. I've never seen it done on camera, or on in film, like a devolution of technology. Like, I mean, yes, there's these situations like in Planet of the Apes where someone shows up and the world has gone backwards, but you tend not to see it like year to year how the person loses the technology. Like they were using guns and now they're using knives.
Mm-hmm.
Someone also added that Nymeria Sand was also in The Last Jedi.
Yes, she is Jessica Pavic, the pilot.
One of the Sand Snakes is in Star Trek Discovery as well. Tilly, Tilly, Tilly. She's really annoying in that as well. Carmine, this one's for you. I feel like I'm your friend when listening to your videos. We'd be boys, says Max. Aww.
We are boys, Max. Thank you. Seriously, thank you, though. So it's almost time, boys.
Yeah.
It is almost time. Phil, I don't want to end your stream lately because we started late because Preston was at a wedding. Always the avid traveler. He's always invited to weddings. And it
was really my wife. No one gave a shit about me. My wife has a lot of friends. I'm a lonely man who just sits in a yeah.
It's all right though. Do we have any more super chats to catch up on?
I think we pretty much got most of them. Oh, and Emil Clark was in Solo. Yes, Emil Clark was in
Solo.
Oh
god, yeah, of course.
We all try to forget about her non-Daenerys Targaryen performances because there's not a good one that I can find. She was horrible. One of the worst acting performances of all time is Terminator. Genesis, her and that was just pathetic.
Or did Carmine? We talked about how George R. R. Martin has an intense connection to all three Sarah Connors. Was that on the previous?
Yeah, that was on the previous live stream. We were talking about that.
Previous live stream, yeah.
I think we got all the super chats.
Actually, there was a super chat that we didn't catch, and I'll address that now real quick. In terms of collaborations with any of the YouTubers, probably not. Me and Preston just came to the realization that we like doing our own thing. We work better as a duo. Because I know a lot of people love to say you guys should partner up with this, and this. Well, if Preston wants to partner up with, I don't know, Joe Schmo, he can. But you kind of rely on me to do that stuff, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, see, so the relationship, Carmine does a lot of the social reaching out and a lot of the scheduling, just because I have a day job and a wife.
I do too, but not because of YouTube, a little less.
A wife and a kid on the way and things like that. So it's
is that the official announcement?
Just drop it.
Did you just drop that here?
Did you just drop that?
So good.
No,
Okay.
we're gonna keep that. Whatever.
This is live. There's no taking that out.
Oh god.
Daddy
like,
Preston.
I'm a busy guy.
Well, no, yeah, of course, and you, like I said, you mainly keep to yourself, and I don't blame you. We've already discussed that ad nauseum in the episode 12 on Patreon. But no, any collaborations for the future has been put on hold indefinitely until we can catch up with Fire and Blood and do other projects I wanted to do. Like I want to still do the live stream. I want to continue doing live streams with Preston because me and him, I know a lot of people complain about all these other Throne YouTubers. They're so just focused on super chats. Me and Preston, we're not that greedy. We just enjoy doing them, and I'm really happy and glad that Phil was here to do it with us because Phil really is the master of this live streaming stuff. Yeah. I also noticed a lot of YouTubers, they do it the easy way. Because when you made us that 30-minute video on how to live stream, Phil,
it's annoying.
You showed us. No, you were great. You showed us how to do it the easy way, which is just click a button, boom, you're done. Camera comes on, all that stuff. You're not doing it the easy way. There's a code here, and there's an editing thing, and so. Everybody's congratulating you.
Yeah. Preston's a lonely, lovely man. How happy. God damn it, Preston. Stop giving me book ideas, says Austin. And then we have $2 to Preston to say King's Landing's Christian community in his Knights King voice. And who is Chad Summerchild based on? Me. I'm Chad Summerchild.
the tower built by King's Landing's Christian community. I'm just so surprised they didn't the CGI out the cross. That's just. Oh well.
Oh my goodness. So sad it's the last episode. Oh, and thank you guys for giving me some love. Phil is awesome. Oh, you guys are sweet. Thank you.
Like I said, it's not really the last episode. Thrones will continue on in its own thing. It's just the one thing I'm really curious about is what all these channels who nicknamed themselves Game of Thrones Watch or whatever are gonna focus on next, since their channel is Game of Thrones in the title. That's the one thing I always, when I used to go out of my way to try to connect with people and tell them here's some advice, blah 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 blah. I would always tell people, don't make your channel name something if you cover Breaking Bad, don't make your channel Breaking Bad Explained, because then you're just relegated to Breaking Bad forever. So, yeah, I feel bad for those channels, but I'm ready to move on from Thrones and cover the books, because I always mainly cover the show. Because people always ask me, why do you just cover the show? Preston does the book. Because well, first off, Preston does the books. He's good with that stuff, and because people like visual mediums. They like that stuff. So I feel like people are more in tune with what's going on screen rather than reading a book. People don't have time to read books sometimes. They would rather watch a show for 30 minutes or an hour.
Preston, we got a super chat donation. If it's a girl, will you name your child Khaleesi?
No. Yeah, but unfortunately, he's got some junk. It's a boy.
He's got the junk.
Yeah.
So Kit Harington, name the kid Kit. Oh my goodness! People in the live chat.
Kit Harington Jacobs. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Lots of congrats going on. I'm the king of the sandwich aisles. Yes, I am the king of the sandwich aisles. Thank you. Who got Preston pregnant? Someone wants to know. Listen, I was the first to say Preston will have a child. Sweet Robin isn't actually a solid name, Preston. Just saying. Carmine's going to find a new show to make excuses for.
I'm not making excuses.
I just wanted to set Carmine off. I know it's going to set Carmine off. Is this child going to be the stallion that mounts the world? Yeah, okay. Sweet Robin. Oh, and the lovely Felicia wants to know who would win Game of Thrones trivia between Carmine and Preston.
Why the fuck would you ask a question you already know the answer to? This motherfucker knows Jon Snow's shoe size. I don't know that. Preston, what's Jon Snow's shoe size? Go ahead.
In European or in American?
See what I mean?
See. So bad question, Felicia. Bad on me for asking it. Bad. Oh goodness, we're having too much fun, but I guess we should go. It's a half an hour before the final episode of Game of Thrones, so yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on these this season.
Man. Hey, look, thank you for doing the live, because I feel bad. You gave us an entire 30-minute video on how to live stream, and I'm like, Yes.
No,
you,
but
Phil.
like then I got the better of the deals. I would have rather do these things with you guys than watch and be like, oh, I want to be on here. But no, it's been fun. It's been fun babbling to you guys. I appreciate it.
Honestly, I'd be down for it. Like I've always wanted to do a podcast episode live. And I wouldn't mind having you on with us while we do it live.
Anytime you guys want to go live, I'm always down to join you guys.
Yeah, no, of course. And if you want to join us for like the podcast episode, like when we record it and edit it and all that stuff, feel free to come on for that. Like I wouldn't mind if Press is cool with it. I wouldn't mind having you on for the episode review. Is this one coming on my channel, Preston? Yeah, this coming episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Would you be cool with Phil joining us?
No.
I wouldn't mind.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's he gonna say now? Oh, he's gonna say, no, he's gonna like, what the fuck you doing, Carmine? In the moment, I hate this freaking hippie. You don't have to deal with him again. He already cornered me into doing a Picard review with him in a year from now. What the hell's going on?
The Picard? Oh, right, that show. Jesus
no, we're gonna make you do it too with us, Carmine. You're gonna have to watch.
I don't watch Star Trek.
No, I want you to watch.
Patrick's first of all, we all know Patrick Stewart's gonna die, and it's not even gonna happen.
Don't bite your tongue. And you know what would be great to make Carmine to make you watch it without having ever watched Star Trek: The Next Generation. You just have to watch the first episode of Picard and review it with us, completely out of context. That'd be great.
Sure. Whatever. We'll see what happens. But no, seriously, Phil, thank you for doing the live stream with us because me and Preston are still noobs at it. It's really not about like greed or anything like that. It really is just like we don't really do that stuff normally. So
no, and you guys have been very, very awesome. Okay, thank you guys. Wait, Preston, name your kid Aegon, Rhaenys, and Aegon, please. Do it.
Absolutely no Game of Thrones names.
No, it's all the hammers already down now.
Sorry.
Lots of love to Preston, and thank you guys, everybody, and thank you guys one more time. Let me get down on my hands and knees and ball lick you guys for the last time tonight. Thank you. And
Preston, are you ready? Are you ready for 4 years of your life to be destroyed in this episode?
Yes, absolutely.
Phil?
Yeah. I'm going to be on after, so anyone that's checking this out, I'll be on at 10:30, very drunk, talking about the episode, and of course, make sure if you're a friend of this channel, to make sure you check out Carmine and Preston's channels. You can find the link in the description box below.
Stop it! You don't need to do that.
Whatever. Go fuck yourself. What you guys were talking about in your podcast, the East Coast talking to people. That means I love you and East Coasties. Go fuck yourself, you two.
That really is what it means.
Talk to you guys after. Later. We are...